I don't think it's
They're
the
choosing
country that made them
billionaires
rich.
every 2 days.
I don't think it's the country that made them rich. It's just
They're choosing billionaires every
Chinese.
2
They don't
days.
choose freaking. You
Bro.
make it sound like they just walk through the streets like you.
Be a billionaire!
Unorthodox reactions. Unorthodox. What are you doing?
Can you let me do what I want to do?
Stop! Stop harassing the mic, man. What are you doing?
I thought it was still there. I thought it was still there.
Welcome back, guys, to another unorthodox reaction. When this guy wants to get to his intro, but today we have for you a Kento Bento video, and it is a mysterious Chinese art heist across Europe. Now then,
Anyways,
without
guys,
further ado,
thank you for checking in
let's
with
get right
us.
into
We're
it.
Unorthodox Reactions. We're back again with another, you guessed it, reaction. And
This video
Wow.
was made possible by CuriosityStream. Watch thousands of documentaries for free for 30
I refuse. We're back again with another reaction. Thank you, guys.
days at the link in the description. Stockholm, Sweden, 2010. Passers-by on the streets of the capital were confused and scared. Several cars in and around the vicinity had lit up in flames, and no one had any idea why. Police soon arrived on scene.
Oh, I should have mentioned we technically did record another Kento Bento video.
No, you all
What?
said they don't need to know that, so they don't need to know that.
But it refused to record for some reason, so... If you want it to be stupid, I thought I'd show you what it looks like.
Show me what it
Freaking-
looks like.
How annoying it is.
That what?
And unprofessional.
Now, several
No,
kilometers to the
that's
west,
not why you
on the
did it.
outskirts of the city, a small group of
Don't
masked
try and
men
lie.
made their way across the grounds of the Drottningholm Palace, the private residence of the Swedish royal family.
Is that how you got to this
Their
country?
target was the Royal Pavilion, situated in the southern part of
Oh,
the
you're talking to
complex,
me?
which displayed countless works
I mean, I feel we're from the same place, so does this really play out the same way?
I don't know, mate.
of historic
You're not
art.
my brother.
Once there, the men forced their way in through the back doors and went right to work. They
Through the
smashed
back
protected
doors.
display cases and grabbed whatever items they wanted. This immediately set off the alarm system, which alerted the Swedish police. Now, despite the alarm, the robbers remained calm because they knew exactly where the police were. The burning cars on the other side of the city were in fact a distraction for them, set up by the robbers, and they had fallen right into the trap. Still, the police raced towards the crime scene, but by the time they reached the Royal Pavilion, the place was empty. The robbers were in and out in less than 6 minutes. Upon inspection,
Dang.
sculptures, chalices, plates, and teapots, all invaluable items, were now missing from the permanent state collection of art and antiquities. And this wasn't just a huge economic loss, but a cultural one as well. It was later found out that after fleeing the pavilion on mopeds, the robbers made their way to a nearby lake, where they were then picked up by a white
Diver.
Though from this point, the trail went cold.
They
Despite
went
this,
scuba diving.
authorities remained relatively optimistic, as in situations like these, items tended to be recovered sooner or later. Very few people
Yeah.
are actually prepared to handle such high-profile works, as the pieces are often too difficult to sell. But what the authorities failed to realize at the time was that the culprits were no ordinary criminals. Little did they know, the Drottningholm heist was just the beginning. 5 months later, in Bergen, Norway, masked men descended from a glass ceiling into the Coda Museum, grabbing vases, imperial seals, and more. In 2012, in Durham, England, thieves broke into a museum at Durham University.
Damn,
These
I
are
was just
busy.
up there, yeah.
Bro, these things were
That's
busy.
crazy.
Stealing high-value porcelain sculptures and bowls. That same month, the museum at Cambridge University.
What?
And in 2015, in Paris, France, intruders smashed their way into the Château de Fontainebleau, the exquisite former residence of the French monarchs, with more than 1,500 rooms full of treasures, making out with artifacts so rare they were considered the masterworks of the royal chateau. Now, at this
Dang.
point, with all this set in Europe, you may be wondering why this video is titled the way it is.
I'm
Well, it turns
wondering.
out the heists shared a similar MO. Cars were lit on fire as distractions for police. Actions taken were clean and meticulous. Getaway methods were often identical, but most importantly, the artifacts stolen were all of a similar type. You see, the first heist, the pavilion in Sweden,
How do you sell those type of artifacts? Because everyone, unless you obviously you sell it on the black market, innit? But like, it's just like everyone's gonna be looking for it somewhere. The police are gonna be tracing it down.
Like you can sell it to like, well, that's where what do you call them? Brokers, I believe, comes in, who knows like people who want to buy something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the way it normally works is that initially someone would want the item and then find someone good enough to steal it for them, and then they'll pay for it.
Okay.
But there were times when like they would just steal it and then find someone to buy it.
Yeah.
And I feel like them stealing it and it getting like the publicity and high profile kind of acts as an advertisement. So anyone who wants it would be like, they'll go to their broker and be like, "Hey, if you know these people, let them know."
Then surely if like someone bought it off them and then like they had people in their house and they guests saw it.
Yeah, but they're not gonna leave it in the living room, are they? They don't have like vaults or secret rooms and stuff.
Priceless artifact. You have to leave it right there.
Yeah, for someone else to rob it from you.
Yeah, of course. It's like this mug. Take me for a mug.
The grounds of the Drottningholm Palace was the Chinese pavilion. The 56 objects stolen from the Coda Museum in Norway was from the China collection. Intruders broke into the Oriental Museum in Durham University, England, and it was the Grand Chinese Museum that was targeted in the Château de Fontainebleau in France. In each heist, the robbers set their sights on art and antiquities from China. In fact, it seemed they were working from a very specific shopping list. They knew exactly what they wanted and where each piece was located. And they were willing to leave behind high-value objects that weren't on the list. Like in the chateau, they completely ignored the other 1,500 rooms containing many other...
I don't think they could have took all that.
How are they going to go to 1,500 rooms?
They're not gonna hit every room, are they?
Yeah, but he was like...
meant like the other more high profile and expensive.
Yeah, but the way he said it was like, yeah, you guys completely butchered that one, mate. Like, you did not go into the...
do like a money heist.
Exactly. Like you guys should have set up camp there. Should have set up camp there. 5-day heist, you know. Get some tea, get some freaking... Come on, man.
Interpol.
Clearly transnational. But despite their investigation, the crime spree could not be stopped. In the years that followed, reports
that's a good point. Like, how could they not? I'm guessing they probably didn't travel by plane, or they just really had like really good forgeries.
Yeah, maybe.
The art heists continued throughout museums across Europe. Now, the general feeling in intelligence circles was that the criminals were carrying out instructions from abroad as ordered jobs, with the true mastermind far from the jurisdiction of European countries. But who was this mastermind, or masterminds, and why would they steal so many documented works that can neither be legally sold nor openly exhibited? Indeed, the majority of the stolen art never actually resurfaced, increasing the likelihood that it ended up as part of someone or some organization's private collection. As the years went by, it seemed to be becoming one of the greater mysteries in art, alongside Stonehenge, Banksy, and the case of the second Mona Lisa. But upon closer inspection,
I heard about that, but...
Second Mona Lisa?
Yeah, a different painting. I feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna lie, all of these, I want to search these questions now.
But I don't understand Stonehenge, though.
Why was it built? It's just...
What freaking is it? It just looks like a stack of rock to me.
Yeah, but...
And why does anyone care about it?
You know what's weird? My friend was like, giants made it. But then again, my friend, innit? So... Who's Banksy? I don't know.
I think it was in the myths that giants did it, but can you stop?
No, because I want to buy one now.
Well,
The
I'm
second
on
Mona Lisa. I want to buy the second one.
Yeah, because you have that kind of money in it.
I do.
Mona Lisa. But upon closer
I am the
inspection,
inventor
the mystery
of...
of the Chinese art heists began to unravel. Signs pointed to the involvement of an elite group of individuals. But to fully understand this, we first need to go back in time, back 160 years ago to the end of the Second Opium War. Beijing, 1860. British and French troops marched defiantly towards the magnificent Old Summer Palace, the main imperial residence of the Qing dynasty. The men were ready for retribution, as a few weeks earlier, their comrades were tortured and murdered at the hands of the Chinese, while attempting to negotiate peace under a prearranged flag of truce. When the Europeans reached the palace grounds, they didn't hold back. laying waste to everything in sight. The old summer palace, known for its architecture, extensive gardens, and its numerous art and historical treasures, was now being desecrated and pillaged. Sculptures, robes, jewelry, vases, chalices, plates, teapots, and even Pekingese dogs, a breed unknown to Europe at the time, were hauled away as trophies. This momentous event, set 160 years earlier, was in fact the original Chinese art heist. Perhaps the real greatest art heist in Chinese history.
So
Once the soldiers
this is someone who wanted these things back and hired someone to steal it.
Revengeful.
on pilfering, they torched the palace grounds to the horror of the Chinese.
Oh, snap.
Now, the majority of the loot made its way to Europe, ending up in the possession of private collectors and royal families. Queen Victoria of Britain was even gifted the very first pet Pekingese dog ever seen in Europe, which she brazenly named
Looty.
Over time, many of these Chinese relics, Looty not included, made its way to museums across Europe, including the Drottningholm Palace in Stockholm, the Coda Museum in Bergen, and the Château de Fontainebleau in Paris. Present day, China is one of the countries that has suffered the most from the loss of antiquities, and in the past decades has managed to conjure a groundswell of national support.
Yeah, I can
There's
see
a
that
motive.
because, like, when they have a museum, like, you won't have anything to display as like national
Yeah.
treasures and stuff.
There's a motive.
For the
But
return
the
of
museum
culture.
can't display it
In fact, the
anyway
Chinese
if it's
government has
stolen.
openly
No,
promoted
they can't.
efforts to repatriate works pillaged during the Opium Wars, most notable the invaluable items stolen from the old Summer Palace. As a result, certain individuals in China have now taken it upon themselves to lead the charge, bringing back China's lost art piece by piece, no matter the cost. But who could this be? Who would have the resources and dedication
The
to pull
president.
off such a feat? Well, in 2016, China made headlines for creating more billionaires than the United States for the first time in history. The growth driven by self-made entrepreneurs, many in the tech industry. It has now reached a point where a new billionaire is minted in China every 2 days.
What?
This new class of elites buying up Chinese artifacts for inordinate sums of money has now become the latest hot trend. An opportunity to show off not just their newfound riches, but also their fervent
We gotta go China,
patriotism.
mate.
After all, the fate of the nation's plundered art from the royal residence of what
I don't think it's
They're
the country
choosing
that made them
billionaires
rich.
every 2 days.
I don't think it's the country that made them rich. It's just
They're choosing billionaires every
Chinese.
2
They don't
days.
choose freaking. You
Bro.
make it sound like they just walk through the streets like
Like-
you.
You're a billionaire. Bro, we could get chosen in like a week.
You're a billionaire and you're a
in
billionaire.
a suburban London auction house. A 16-inch Chinese vase from the old Summer Palace started with an inconsequential price of $800,000, but ended half an hour later with a final bid of $69.5 million.
Half an
50
hour?
times its estimate. An anonymous buyer from China. And this wasn't unique. There was also the small porcelain chicken cup, which sold for $36 million.
What?
and a
Bro,
Tibetan
are
silk
you even
tapestry,
gonna
which
use
sold
this?
for
Okay,
$45
that one I
million.
can understand.
Just swooping in and purchasing artifacts
Chicken
left and right
cup.
But look at the size
Chicken
of
cup
it.
of
It
36
won't even be
million.
enough to hold my friggin' coffee.
Sorry. Guys, we are auctioning this for starting 500k. What's wrong with you, man?
I'm
500k.
trying to freaking make benefits off stupidness.
That's not stupidness. That is
We're better than that.
That is art right there.
Of course it is.
Exactly.
But she says I want to sell it. I want to put it on display.
Guys, I am selling this
I stole
vintage
it for
bowl
somewhere.
that I have had for over 20 years for 200k.
Possible. In many cases, the most prized and rarest works of art never go up for auction. Rather, they're kept at Western museums or held in private collections. So what happens when all legal avenues have been exhausted?
Illegal.
Well, there is the idea that some Chinese billionaires are funding free agents to retrieve these museum works. And instead of putting these dubiously acquired treasures up for display for all to see, are understandably hiding them away in highly secured, climate-controlled warehouses. Though not all may actually care to play it so low-key.
But that's what I'm saying though, because like even if like they steal it back, they can never display it then.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I don't understand.
It's the pride, innit? It's the pride in having it.
Yes, but then it's
the-
okay. I guess if it's in your private collection and you know it's back in the country, that's
Yeah,
some
you feel
form of
safer, you
security.
feel, yeah, like,
Because I'm saying, it doesn't matter how many years you wait, you can never display it. Because as soon as it turns up, whichever museum originally had it is just going to be
unless-
like, hey, that's ours, give it
no,
back.
unless China decide to take over Sweden, France, and England.
So you want them to take over the world, or all of Europe?
3 countries, mate, that they went to steal the thing.
And where is Sweden?
Oh, and
France,
Germany as well.
Where are these places located?
Yeah, in Europe, but they're not all over
They're
the
located
world.
back to back to back here. They're not gonna have to march through other countries to invade.
No. They just take over those 3 places, right?
Yeah, because they're
And
just
then
gonna be
once they
like,
say, no, listen, let me hear my story. Once they take over those places, they can. How? No, you're getting really rude, you know.
Because
I actually don't.
starting stupid.
No,
like,
you
I know
have to
you
stop
do.
the video as well. You're actually,
From theft.
you're really starting to get on my last nerves. I'm gonna smack you if you keep doing that. And I don't want to hear nothing from you. All right? Let me finish explaining what I'm saying. Okay?
Alright.
Thank you. So basically,
I don't know why
they go to those poor countries, right?
Intellectual property being very different from the Western world, the aforementioned issues of selling or exhibiting these high-profile stolen works may not be so problematic after all. There's also the justification many have that since the items were initially stolen from China, it can't be considered a real crime.
See?
And by now returning the artifacts to
not
its
Rex.
homeland to be displayed, they are somehow aiding its liberation. Now, all this may seem a plausible enough explanation, perhaps even likely, but billionaires aren't the only suspects here. In recent years, there has been another popular idea circulating, one that puts the culpability on an entity far greater and more powerful than Chinese billionaires.
American.
And that's the Chinese government. The implication being that China itself is the one ordering the
Told
theft
you.
from Western museums, and that they are in fact the buyer of the stolen relics.
Told
After
you.
all, China's Communist Party has already made it clear that they want their art back.
Yeah, but my
And then
point
once they
still
take over,
stands, though.
they can then show them because those countries can't do anything. And they don't even have to take over. All they have to do is they can show it in their country now. And then,
No, they can't.
yes, they can't because then the other countries have to fight the Chinese government. It
Exactly.
creates a war, and they're not going to go to war for something China wants proves as theirs. They're not going to go to war for art, bro. They're not going to go to war for art. They will not go to war for art.
You
They will not go to war for art.
It's
Millions and billions of
Let's say that.
lives.
And then until we end up going to, and then it's
You're
like,
not going
oh
to
my
war for
god, I
art.
didn't think they would actually.
No,
go to
you're
war.
not going to war for art.
Bro, they've been to war for some stupider reason.
Go on, then name one.
I wish I could, but I don't know
Exactly,
history
that's what
like
I
that.
thought. That's what
No,
I thought.
I know there is. I just don't know
Yeah, but
history
obviously
like that.
back then that was dumb, innit? But like, we're talking
We
about
haven't
modern
evolved
day-
that much.
Yes,
Mentally, humans haven't evolved
Yes,
that much
they have.
that they can be emotionally stable enough to be like, oh, no, it's just art. We just leave it to them.
yeah.
No, because there's money to be made in it. And whenever there's money to be made in it, it's always going to
It's not
end in
enough
war.
money. It's not enough money for there to be a war. Do you know wars cost billions?
It's not enough. Do you know how? Do you don't even know how much they're making off this?
What?
Especially the ones that have it displayed in like the museums and stuff.
Yeah.
And the longer you hold it for, the more value it has.
Yeah.
So they want it back.
It's not worth the war. It's not. I promise you, it's not.
with
I'm a
seemingly
member of
little care
parliament,
about
it's
the
not.
methodology of their return. Certainly, they've demonstrated no real concern or sympathy for the museum heist in Europe. And in fact, apparently, one of the items stolen from the Coda Museum in Bergen, Norway, is now
Oh, it's
openly
Norway,
displayed at
not
one of
Germany.
China's international airports in Shanghai.
Told
Police in
you.
Bergen did attempt to follow up on this lead, but Norwegian authorities higher up didn't want to insult the Chinese with accusations.
Thank you.
Norway. They're like
Yeah.
next to freaking what's it? I can't remember. They're like the
They're
nicest
not
people
gonna
on earth.
do it. Exactly.
Like-
I'm telling you, that's all they have to do. What other country's gonna do? England's probably the only one that's gonna be like, oh yo, give us back our thing.
Sweden, yeah,
Nah,
they're
Sweden's
nice
not
as
doing
well.
it.
They're nice.
France would just be like, oh, allow it, man. That's
Nah, I feel like France would try and put some back.
Yeah, maybe,
Because
but
I don't think they would mind too much
yeah,
to
but
be
then
rude. They would
China
put it
will
back.
push back and they'll be like, you know what, you're right, cool, fair play, keep it. England will be like, oh, you little, and then they'll want to go to war, and then they
But
can't.
the
They
thing
won't.
is, though,
I'm
like,
telling you. I'm telling you.
Because it's just putting them. Because like, okay, they could do that now, but then let's say if a war did break out,
Yeah.
this is more likely that Norway's never gonna want to be on China's side because they're
No.
gonna be like, hey, remember that time when you stole art from us?
No.
Hell no, I ain't on your side. I'm joining.
No, they won't though because
Yes,
it's
they
so
will.
small and petty. I don't think you understand.
I don't think you understand.
Because you understand
It
how much.
depends.
It doesn't matter how much. It's not making them
if
enough
a
money.
war's gonna affect their country, it doesn't matter how small they are. They still have to
Yeah,
contribute. And
yeah, I know. But I'm saying stealing the art isn't gonna It's not as expensive as you think it is to them.
I don't know
It's
how much.
not worth-
It depends. What the?
The flip is that?
This guy, man.
It's not me, bro.
It is you.
It's not me, bro.
But anyway, my point is, depending on how much they stand to make from it and how much profit it's actually bringing to them, they're gonna want it back.
Yeah, I don't think it will cost that much though.
It does.
No, not
Look how much you went
more.
for auction.
Yeah, that's 90 million. 90
And
million to a
imagine-
country is nothing.
Imagine if they kept it for another 10 years. How
That's
much it'd be
nothing to a
worth then.
country though. That's nothing. Do you know how much countries are worth? Like
Okay,
that means billionaires.
How do you
that
think
means-
they got there to be
That
worth
means
that much?
billionaires can buy countries and they can't.
How do you think they got there to be worth that
Billionaires
much?
can't buy countries.
Answer. How do you think they got there to be worth
It
that
wasn't
much?
through art. It's by
that's part of
resources.
it.
It's resources.
It's all not one part of resource.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
that's not. Oh yeah,
It's
because we
it's
got
a part
art.
of
bruv.
a resource.
It's not because we got art, bruv.
Why do you think the Chinese are fighting to get it back? Because it's part of a
It's their
resource that they're
pride.
lacking.
It's their pride.
And it's a resource that they're lacking
But it's
because
their
in their
pride.
museums they have nothing to really display that.
Yeah,
to
but
say,
it's their pride.
This is our history of
Yeah,
China.
it's their pride.
That's part of a resource.
I guess so, but I don't think it's worth billions or trillions that a country is worth. That for them to go to war for.
Incident.
You say,
And some
but I say
Though if the
different.
Chinese government is involved in all this, it would likely be through the most powerful and most impenetrable conglomerate, the
Samsung.
China Poly
Oh.
Group. The state-run corporation started as an
That's
offshoot
Japan,
of the
I
People's
think.
Liberation Army as their arms manufacturing wing, and has since evolved far beyond. Their varied pursuits now include not just the peddling of missiles and weapon systems, but international trade, real estate, and perhaps most unexpectedly, the buying and selling of art and antiquities. In fact, they run the third largest art auction house in the world, behind Sotheby's and Christie's. Of the company's headquarters at the new Beijing Poly Plaza, the New York Times noted the most unusual contrast of being able to buy a painting on the 3rd floor and a missile system on the 27th. Today, they have declared assets of $140 billion, over twice the GDP of Luxembourg. So could
That's just them in China. Do you know how much China must be worth then?
Selling.
That's just them though. That's one
Selling.
thing.
I mean, granted, they're selling
that's
military
a
as
business
well, but
in
also selling
that's a business
art.
in China, right?
Selling.
That's what I'm
based
saying.
around
Exactly. Yeah, cool. But that's multiple arts, right? Multiple like items or whatever,
well,
and
the-
military.
I'm
and all that.
sorry. I think listen, one piece of
Yeah,
art
but listen,
and left every
That's such a
country alone.
minuscule number to how much like China's not going to war if they lose that much money. They're not going to war if they lose that much money. They're not. It's a lot, but they're not going to war if they lose that much money.
It depends what they lose it in.
Could the China Poly Group be behind the Chinese art heists in Europe? Well, maybe. We already know they've been running a global information network to locate and reclaim lost antiquities that, as they put it, have been illegally robbed away by Western powers. Many might call this a
I need to
global
get-
unjust
I need
cause,
to find
although
the black
countries
market.
and cultures whom China itself has
I'm really
taken
intrigued
advantage
to
of
just
through
see it. I
conquest
just want to
might
see it.
have
I don't want to
the
buy
same
anything.
It's not actual freaking market that the people just have stands like just chilling in the corner like shouting about you like, hey.
It's black people in the market.
Now, China Poly has not revealed much about their retrieval program and has not responded to public requests to elaborate on their methodology. But they have outright denied any involvement in the museum heists, calling the allegations nonsense. From the evidence, they claim it cannot be inferred that there was even somebody ordering the heists. Further, defenders of China Poly have pointed out that during the robbery in Paris, not all the stolen artworks were actually Chinese. One item in particular was of Thai origin, a replica crown of the King of Siams, given to Napoleon III in 1861. So, why would the Chinese government steal that? It's
They're
clear
not
there are still
dumb.
mysteries left
Alibi.
unanswered about the
Exactly.
Chinese art heists, and perhaps we'll never really know, such as the mystery of the second Mona Lisa, whose very existence has puzzled art experts
taunting me
for
with
over
this.
a century. Why are
Yeah.
there two versions of the Mona Lisa? And is the one sitting in the Louvre in Paris even the original? Now, if you want to find out all about this, there's
Oh,
an
you know?
excellent documentary.
The Mona Lisa in Paris, you're not even allowed to be like within range of it.
What do you mean within range?
Like you see how it's like there. You know how in Lupin, have you seen Lupin?
Lupin.
Lupin. Yeah. You know how he was,
the TV show. So
Yeah,
I thought you meant
No,
the anime. I thought you
Lupin.
know shit.
you know how he got close to the
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like you're not even allowed to, because my friend, she's from France. She's like, bruh, you can't even get anywhere near it. Like
I mean, I'm assuming they have like a thing on the floor to show you how
close you can get. Yeah, and it's far.
But then I'll be like, bro, look how small it is. I'm not from here.
Yeah, you can't get nowhere. You can't get nowhere.
That was the freaking point of
ridiculous.
coming here. But I guess they have other art as well.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you check out. It's available right
Yeah,
now
it's
on
had, like-
Curiosity Stream, a streaming service with thousands
The
of
cameras around it are
high-quality
ridiculous
documentaries
apparently as
created
well.
by the same guy behind the Discovery Channel. So there's
But imagine being able to pull up a heist of the month.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So-
No, bro, I don't think you understand how much I
Hey,
think
I'm not
about it.
saying it. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. I have an alibi.
the Mona Lisa mystery, which you should definitely check out. But if you're one of those people who doesn't quite understand how to look at art or how to look at a painting, kind of like me, who finds it all a bit baffling, I'd also recommend this 12-part series called, well, How to Look at a Painting. Now, if you love
12
the Kento Bento
parts.
channel, you're almost certain to be a lover of
Interesting.
documentaries. And by going to Curiosity Stream,
Is the Earth flat?
We can get into that then. What are you doing?
you can get unlimited access to the world's top documentaries and non-fiction series for a very reasonable $2.99 a month. Better yet, by entering the promo code
Curiosity Stream. If you're interested, check it out. I did check it out one time actually.
Why do we keep shouting out people's? Actually,
Because
no,
it's
you're
the
right.
least we
Make
can
them
do.
money.
Freaking
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
the
Help them.
videos for
Yeah,
free.
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Anyway, you were saying.
My fault.
You were saying.
About what?
You asked the question.
Oh, did you pause it? Oh,
No,
Is Earth
it's
flat?
out. I think it's still playing.
hello, DJ. Can you stop on the replay? Go on. Is Earth flat?
No.
Cool story. If you think the Earth is flat, please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. If you think the Earth,
If you think the Earth is flat, hit that subscribe button because it represents or it's similar to the Earth.
Exactly.
It's also flat.
If you think the Earth is not flat, then come on, like, comment, subscribe. Come on, we ain't even got to ask you, do we? Thank you for watching. Thank you for still. If you're watching, we still appreciate you. If you're not watching, we still appreciate you regardless. And make sure you look after your loved ones.
I
Stay
feel
blessed.
like your outros are really lacking substance. That they do. It's like you need to work on them or switch it up at least. Like, come on.
How is it lacking
better.
substance? It's always so good. It's so
We'll see you in the next one in a bit.
entertaining.